Mark Fawcett here with the Tribute Lounge, and Burton gave us this awesome little surprise. In the mail, we got a 2022 Family Tree 158 Showstopper, and it's truly that. It's a beautiful looking little resort board. 1.5 centimeters of taper, 26.5 at the waist. This thing's right up my alley. I can't wait to go shred it. This will be my first turns on the Burton Family Tree 158 Showstopper. Welcome to the Tribute Lounge. I'm Mark Fawcett.
And I'm S.Johnsen.
And this is the Burton Family Tree Showstopper.
So we both got a chance to ride this board. It's phenomenal. Key feature right when you look at it, it's directional. This thing, the nose is the nose, the tail is the tail, and visually you can tell quickly there's 15 mils of taper there. You see that there's a narrow tail. With a narrow tail, sits down in powder. That's one of my favorite things about it. And also, directional camber, everything's set back. Your camber set back, your stance, your reference points, everything's set back, giving you a nice long nose. And again, acts like that. Nose up, tail down in the pow, and even on corduroy, it's going to track like a directional board.
This board is 26.5 at the waist, and again, this is the 158 that I had the pleasure of riding. Shane got on the 154.
54, yeah.
And 26.5 was great, especially with all that tail taper. It makes that back foot not exceedingly wide. It worked great with my size 10s. It's got a very tight sub 7 meter side cut radius, so quite a bit of side cut in there for sure, but rode pleasantly fantastic. This board features a Superfly 2 core and squeeze box technology, and what that is, within the core profiling, it's designed to take into consideration that the bindings, when attached to the board, can create a little bit of a stiff spot, and they've accommodated for that within the core profiling, a little bit lower in the areas surrounding the binding, and it gives you a beautiful bend.
Another really cool thing with Burton cores, a lot of Burton cores, and this in particular, is EGD, Engineered Grain Direction. So if you can imagine, there's actually a lot of pieces of wood in this core, and laid up right near the sidewall, you've got grain directions running in 90 degrees, and as you flare out from that, they move into 33 and 45s. This has it in variations throughout the board, but that's giving power through the grains straight to your edge. So performance-wise, when this is on edge, it's powerful, it's rock solid, and you're not getting off the rails. It's on.
And then moving into Burton's march towards a greener planet, they have a recycled sintered WFO base, and I've found it had a beautiful finish, fast as hell, and doing a little bit better for the planet anyway.
Absolutely. Riding impressions, like Mark said, I was on the 54. We were actually at one of our smaller local mountains here, Salmo, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite places. And getting on the 54, initially I was like, okay, normally I ride a 58. Getting on the 54, I thought I was on a 52. And it's just, it lends to the directional shaping. That amount of taper does make the board ride a little smaller. So, keep that in mind. I personally, even at 155, 5'8", I'm going to probably buy the 58.
Funny enough, I got to ride the 58, and I took it out a second day because I had so much fun on it the first day at Red Mountain. And the second day I was just behind our shop here in Nelson. And I too felt that the 58 rode just a little smaller than a 58 from a perspective of its mobility and how quick it could turn and
that's a big part of it.
Maneuverability, but I loved it. I actually would stay with the 58 myself. As a resort board, we have a lot of little spots, small little tight areas in the trees. I loved it. One of the things I really liked about it was the swing weight. I think that's why it's so maneuverable, is they've really cut away a lot of the fat that would normally be on a 58 at the nose and the tail with these more pointed, old school, I guess, shapes, which I love. It's called the Showstopper.
Me too.
I love the look of this board. But it feels fantastic. So there's really low swing weight for how much effective you have underneath your feet. When it came to opening it up, I got on some groomers and was like, okay, let's see if this thing can turn some GS turns. No problem. I've loved this board. I think for a resort board, for people that like being in the trees, being in adverse conditions. So I was on brutal dust on crust. The second day I went out, I was really hoping there would be more snow, and it was like 10 centimeters on top of like bulletproof. But it worked great. It was floaty. I could have that light touch. If I hit, it wasn't a big deal. It didn't throw me off at all. This would be a really daily driver for me for resort riding.
Yeah, I agree. I was lucky. The day at Salmo was, 10, 15 cm of fresh pow. I was a little luckier, and this thing just shined in that kind of condition. But yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to even, take this in a bank slalom. It really railed, especially with my body weight, and even on the 54. So I too would consider this a daily driver, and am definitely considering this my next year's daily driver. The other thing with Burton, pretty much across the board, is a 3-year warranty. So that's just a bit of added insurance. If anything did go wrong, Burton's got your back. 3 years, it's pretty amazing.
And that's our review of the Burton Family Tree Showstopper. If you would like to purchase one of these, you can visit our online store at tributeboardshop.com.
Or head down to Baker Street, Nelson, BC, Canada. Visit us in shop, and I'm sure we're going to have quite a few of these on the wall.